If you wanted to download new features to your phone, you can tap a few buttons, press download, and hey presto, new features. But if you wanted to update the features in your car, say add more horsepower, you'd probably have to take it back to the dealership, or even buy a new car. But now that's changing, and there's a big reason why.
We will give our customers the ability to upgrade their vehicles in real time.
That's Stellantis, the makers of Jeep, Dodge and Chrysler to name a few, saying that soon drivers will be able to download upgrades like additional horsepower direct to their car. It means that in the future your car could come preloaded with add-ons that you pay to turn on whenever you choose. Stellantis and GM have both said that they expect software and services to generate tens of billions of dollars in revenue by the end of the decade. And to get there, they're investing billions into developing new software.
We will prove how disruptive the auto sector can be.
They have a huge challenge in terms of persuading car drivers to move off their phones and onto the automotive interfaces.
So why is software suddenly such a big deal for legacy car manufacturers? Let's jump in. One key reason that automakers are betting so heavily on software is that it expands their revenue streams. See, unless you bought your car from one of the new startups that sell direct to the consumer, there's a strong chance you bought it from a dealership. And the day you purchased it was their main chance to upsell you on extra features.
Joe began selling the new car and as many accessories as he could so the deal would get closer to a reasonable figure.
But by delivering updates over the internet, customers can buy or even subscribe to new features whenever they want, and that gives automakers a potentially unlimited window to upsell.
The hope is they can make ongoing revenue streams based on monthly subscriptions so they don't actually have to find a new customer every single day of the year in order to make their revenues.
But in order to get customers to pay for subscriptions, they're going to have to offer something competitive via their software. And that's where automakers have struggled in the past.
Car production works on these 5-7 year cycles, whereas software and phones work on 2-year cycles historically. It just meant that the phones just very rapidly leapt years ahead of car software and infotainment.
Here's an example. This is my car's built-in infotainment system. It comes with radio and voice memos, and I rarely ever use it, because every time my wife and I get in the car, we plug our phones in using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and that gives us access to the latest versions of things like Google Maps and Waze for free. And we're not alone. A study this year found that over half of those surveyed preferred Apple or Google's car software over their car's inbuilt system. So now automakers are looking to change that.
Our strategy is to disconnect the hardware and the software cycles to create a product that can evolve naturally and regularly.
Their main strategy is to go far deeper under the hood, where smartphone makers can't go. Hey Siri, can you give me some more horsepower?
Sorry, I can't start or stop the horsepower.
Stellantis recently announced that Dodge owners would soon be able to do exactly that, download software that unlocks more horsepower to selected models. And Polestar, who is jointly owned by Volvo and parent company Geely, have also said that you can download an update that gives more horsepower to their electric Polestar 2. The upgrade costs around $1,100 and so far is only available in parts of Europe. But it doesn't just stop at engine power. Automakers have been testing subscription packages for everything, from heated seats to smarter headlights to automated parking. GM recently announced that its forthcoming Ultifi software platform could, in the future, offer services like identifying the driver through facial recognition and automatically starting the engine. You know, because this, such a burden. It's also said that Ultifi could potentially be used to let drivers subscribe on the fly to GM's advanced driver assistance system called Super Cruise. Wait. I'm pretty sure I've heard that somewhere before. Because there's a company that's already letting customers subscribe to its driving assistance software. Tesla. The company lets drivers subscribe to its full self-driving package, which offers a suite of driver assistance functions for $10,000 flat or around $200 a month.
All Teslas being produced right now have this computer.
See, the latest Teslas come out of the box with all those features built into the vehicle, but they only turn on if you pay for them. Tesla doesn't break out revenue or profits for its full self-driving software, but investors' belief in its automation technology is part of what helped transform the company into the world's most valuable automaker. For other automakers to follow suit, it means that every car they ship out will pretty much have to be a top-of-the-range model, loaded with hardware that drivers may never opt into.
Exactly what they end up building into the cars is about that calculation. Can we assume that 25% of people will have this turned on, and therefore that will be worth it for us to build it into the car already? It could all work out, but it remains unproven.
Even if automakers can find the right combination of hardware, software and pricing to create competitive subscription packages, it's still unclear whether they'll be able to move quickly enough to generate the billions that they're forecasting. After all, while GM and Stellantis say they're going to be rolling out more of their connected cars over the next few years, Stephen says it could be a decade until there's enough of them out there to give these automakers a meaningful software business. That's almost 15 years away, and a lot can happen in 15 years. After all, the iPhone is only 14 years old, and Foxconn, who make the iPhone, are developing their own car. And Google are pushing to deeper integrate with automakers. So if legacy car manufacturers want to get a slice of the automotive software business, they might have to step on the gas. Hey, if you're interested in Tesla's full self-driving beta, then check out my video here. And as always, if you're interested in the future of how we might be getting from A to B, then don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.